The main event is just moments away. On the line, riders and mechanics are preparing for the start with carefully thought-out routines. We're just about to get underway with that main event. When that card goes sideways, it'll be the signal for the rider, and there it goes. It's the signal for the riders on the line to put their bikes in gear, to start revving the throttles. The gate will drop. It does, and they're off. Round 13 of the Camel Supercross Series is underway. From Litchfield Park, Arizona, as the rain starts to come down, Sean Kalos takes the lead on that Yamaha. Kalos having trouble dog paddling through that. Kalos bails off big time. Sean Kalos, his bike went straight up in the air, jumped off the motorcycle. I can't believe he was not hit and run over by the entire field, but evidently Kalos is all right. He's on his feet and making his way back toward his bike. Meanwhile, rider number 7, Jeff Stanton, the current series points leader. The Honda rider out of Sherwood, Michigan is leading. Right behind him, former Supercross champion Jeff Ward. Then comes Doug Dubach on that white Yamaha. Mickey Diamond, also aboard a Yamaha, running in the number 4 position. We have got a battle, and folks, it is raining here in Giant Stadium. About the time the starting gate dropped is when the clouds cut loose. Earlier today, it had been threatening rain. We watched the skies all day long, and we wondered if indeed we would get the main event in. Jeff Ward knifes to the inside of Jeff Stanton, and Ward has taken over the number 1 position. Going into that corner, Jeff Ward kept the gas on just a little bit longer than Stanton. Stanton had to go way up by the bales because Ward was pushing him there. He had no choice. So Jeff Ward is your leader. Now, rider number 7 is Jeff Stanton, the series points leader. Stanton is currently in 2nd place in this race. It's the main event of round 13. It has been an exciting one. Stanton was the early leader. He was passed by Jeff Ward, then it started. Stanton is catching Ward. Ward has slowed way down. Ward is falling off the pace. I don't understand what is happening to Jeff Ward. He's looking down at the left side of his motorcycle. That's where the shift lever, the sprocket, is located. It could be that Ward has jammed the motorcycle into first gear, although I think if that were the case, he would be trying to bump it out with his foot. Ward has just slowed to almost a snail's pace. All of the back markers are going around him. Meanwhile, Jeff Stanton, rider number 7, the series points leader, has regained the number 1 spot. As I started to say, he was the early leader, and Ward passed him. Now, Stanton stayed well within striking distance of Ward, but it didn't look like he had a lot left. It didn't look like he'd really be able to catch Ward. Gary Bailey has worked his way up to Jeff Ward. Let's see what he has to say.
What's the problem?
I think the transmission went out. It's stuck in 2nd gear, and it's chattering, so it's too dangerous.
The track, is it getting slick?
Yeah, a little bit, but I liked it, you know. I felt good. I was pulling away, and he closed on me because I felt it chatter going to a couple triples, so I had to back it down, and then, you know, it just snapped, so it wasn't a good night.
Sorry about it, but you were riding good.
Indeed, he was riding good. Jeff Ward has ridden well all year when he's been running. As I told you earlier, Ward has won 3 main events this year, but missed 6 of the early rounds due to an ankle injury. He's going to miss the remainder of this one, this muddy one, here in the Meadowlands. Back to the action, and there's Jeff Stanton, rider number 7. Stanton is way out in front of the rest of the field. His battle with Jeff Ward on this muddy, slippery track carried the two of them well ahead of the pack. In fact, there is Johnny O'Mara, rider number 20, aboard that yellow Suzuki. O'Mara is in second place as the riders in front of O'Mara go down. That was Jeff Friz that triggered that crash. He was going slow. Doug Dubach piled into the rear end of Friz. Let's see if we can't see that again. We'll bring it up on a slow-motion camera. Here it is. Friz was just slowing down through that rut, and Dubach had nowhere to go, plowed into the rear end of him. The tragedy would have been had O'Mara hit the two of them and gone down. Now O'Mara does not have the secure, and Jeff Stanton goes down. He's quickly up, he's not hurt, and the bike didn't even stop running, so no harm done. He couldn't have lost more than a second or a second and a half over second place Johnny O'Mara. The track, though, is getting extremely slippery. There are puddles standing. In fact, some of the ruts and some of the tighter corners are full of water. You put just a little bit of water on top of that clay, and you have a slippery, slick mess. It's like a freshly waxed floor, and all over the racetrack, riders are falling, are sliding out. And there is the white flag signifying 1 lap to go. It's been raining throughout the race. Just about time the starting gate dropped, the clouds opened up, and it started to pour. The surface of this Meadowlands track has been turned into a slippery mess with all of the water that's been dumped on it. Jeff Stanton has only a couple of corners to go, a few more moguls, and he'll romp home the winner. It'll be his 4th win, as a matter of fact, of the Camel season. He'll pad that Camel Series points lead. And here's Stanton. There's a checkered flag, and an arm goes up in victory. What a ride, a muddy, slippery ride, and there's Mickey Diamond. He takes the checkered flag to take the number 2 position.
Jeff, a little wet out there?
Yeah, the rain started coming down right at time in the main event. Ward got a really good start. Something happened to his bike, I guess. He rode a good race while he was out there. And then it really started to downpour, and it got really, really slick, and I fell twice. It was amazing. It was a great ride.
You told me earlier today, you said you've been practicing this week in the mud. You think it helped you a little?
Yeah, I think it helped me a little bit. It was really slick, more slick than what I was used to riding at home, but the strong man survived, and I did it.
On the starting line are the best 250cc Supercross riders in the world. The main event of round 11 of the Camel Supercross Series is about to get underway. Before it does, let's go to Gary Bailey, who is on the starting line.
Larry, the 250 battle should be a good one. The Stanton-Tishner heat race, fastest one of the night. Jeff Ward looking to make it 3 Supercross wins in a row. Jeff Matasevich coming off of the 125s onto the 250s. He looks tough. If anyone can possibly win, but I picked one of these 4 guys right here.
And with a sweep of that long left arm, Gary Bailey picked 4 of the best in the business. Ronnie Tishner was rider number 11 on that yellow Suzuki. And on the other end was Jeff Ward, rider number 5, Team Kawasaki. Now, Ward is a former Supercross champ, and he's coming off a pair of Supercross wins. Most recently, Dallas, just 1 week ago. There goes the gate, and the best Supercross riders in the world are on for round 11 of the Camel Series. Jumping out in front was Doug Dubach and Jeff Stanton. Rider number 7 was Jeff Stanton, one of those picked by Gary Bailey. He slammed into the bales. Stanton, the hometown favorite, is way at the back of the pack. Here it is again. Now here comes Stanton, rider number 7. From that angle, we can't see if he was pushed or shoved into the bales. It doesn't matter. He was there, and he is out of contention in this one unless he pulls together some kind of a miraculous ride. Meanwhile, out in front on that lime green Kawasaki is Jeff Matasevich from La Habra Heights, California. Matasevich, a 125 rider in that western region, switching to the 250s for this contest. Running in the number 2 position was Guy Cooper on the Honda. He's from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Sean Kalos aboard that white Yamaha. Number 24 is running 3rd. 4th place goes to Jeff Ward, rider number 5 on the Kawasaki. And rounding out the top 5, and there he goes to the inside, and he made the pass. Rider number 4, that's Ron Lachine, the mean one from El Cajon, California. And Lachine looks like he means business on this Silverdome track. Now Lachine has gone past Guy Cooper. He's taken over the number 3 position. That puts a Kawasaki in 1st and 3rd. At the head of the pack, number 26, Jeff Matasevich from La Habra Heights, California. He's a young, inexperienced 250 rider, but he has all the moves and the makings of a good one. To the inside, Lachine ran Sean Kalos into the bales, and he now takes over the number 2 spot. Lachine is on the gas. Now, earlier we talked about, and here comes Jeff Ward. Ward is trying to get a wheel on the inside of Kalos. He splits Kalos and Cooper, but Cooper and Kalos come right back at him. What a battle we're having here in the Silverdome. Let's get back to Jeff Matasevich, our leader, as I started to tell you a few seconds ago. Matasevich has been running the 125 class in that Western Regional Championship. This is only his second 250 effort. We asked Matasevich whether or not the competition here in the 250 class, being so much greater than it is in the 125 class, would make a difference.
Yeah, you know, I feel really confident in the 125 class. I know I can win in there, and I haven't had much practice this year in the 250 class. So this is my second race 250. The first race I broke my shoulder, so I'm going to be, I'm sure, a little nervous on the line, but I'm just going to, you know, once the gate drops, all the nerves go away, and you're just out there to win, and that's all you're thinking about.
But right now, Jeff Matasevich had better be thinking about Ron Lachine, who has moved up to the rear fender of Matasevich, and in fact, Lachine makes the pass. Ron Lachine out of El Cajon, California, took the measure of his Kawasaki teammate and moved into the #1 position. Ron Lachine is easily the most aggressive rider on the racetrack, but the funny part is only half the eyes in the Pontiac Silverdome are watching him. Only half. The rest are watching hometown favorite Jeff Stanton. You'll recall that Stanton was involved in that first lap mishap that put his front wheel into a bale. Now that knocked the hometown hero and championship points leader out of contention for this one, but the crowd is behind him. Earlier, we asked Stanton, and there he is, rider #7, whether or not that crowd could be a factor.
Yeah, I think that will motivate me. If I am behind and they're yelling for me, you know, wanting me to get up front, I think that will help me out a lot. You know, it'll give me an extra incentive, an extra drive to get going.
And at this point in time, Stanton needs all the help he can get. Now, since that opening lap when Stanton was in dead last, he's come a long way, but he has a longer way to go. Now, running in the #2 position is Jeff Matasevich also. And Guy Cooper, rider #10 on the Honda. Guy Cooper goes by Matasevich, and now Jeff Ward is trying to sneak by. So a change in second, third, and fourth. Cooper takes over the #2 position. Ward follows in third place, and Matasevich at the drop of the hat is back to fourth. The action has been this way since the drop of the gate. And here comes Jeff Ward. Ward started to draw a bead on the rear wheel of Guy Cooper, and he's not giving up yet. Look at this. Ward got a wheel on the outside. He switches to the inside. Jeff Ward takes over the #2 position. Now, Ward did not get a good drive out of that corner, and Ward got sideways in the air. Guy Cooper had an excellent drive. He come off that double, and Cooper took the #2 spot back. What a battle for this #2 position. Out in front, Ron Lachine. In second, Guy Cooper, #10 on that red Honda. Third place belongs to Jeff Ward, rider #5 on the Kawasaki. In fourth, the Kawasaki #26 of Jeff Matasevich. Behind him, Sean Kalos on the Yamaha. The action here in the Pontiac Silverdome has been nothing short of spectacular. It's round 11 of the Camel Supercross Series. The battle right now for the #2 position. That's Guy Cooper from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Now, Cooper has had some outstanding rides so far in this series. Jeff Ward coming off an injury, and Ward goes to the inside of Cooper. Jeff Ward shot to the inside. He squared that corner off and took over the #2 position for the second time today. Cooper is trying to rail around the outside to get a drive and take the second spot back, but no dice. Jeff Ward has got it, and he intends to hold on to it. And here's the battle for the #2 position. Guy Cooper aboard that red Honda, rider #10, has reeled in Jeff Ward on the green Kawasaki. This one is going to... Cooper out-jumps Ward. Guy Cooper has again taken over the #2 spot. Now Ward will try. Ward tried to cut to the inside. He wanted to go high. He wanted to square off that corner and squirt to the inside of Guy Cooper. Cooper may have hit the brakes slightly in that corner. In any event, Jeff Ward found his front wheel in between Guy Cooper's rear wheel and the hay bale. He had absolutely nowhere to go. So put Cooper down for the #2 position, Ward back to third, and there's your leader on the white flag. That flag, of course, signifies one lap remaining, and this one will be history. Ron Lachine, through the mechanics signal area, raises his left fist, a gesture of victory to his mechanics. All of the work is paying off, and look at that! It's showtime at the Supercross in the Pontiac Silverdome. Lachine in midair took both feet off the peg. That brought the crowd alive. Lachine has to keep it upright for about half a lap, and victory will be his, and he knows it. Now, there are just a few corners remaining before Lachine can lay claim to victory here in the Silverdome. He's put together, though, a solid effort to claim round number 11. When Ron Lachine takes the checkered flag, he'll be only the 4th rider of the season to do so. He'll join the likes of Jeff Ward, his teammate, Jeff Stanton, and of course Rick Johnson, who won the first 5 rounds and is out now with an injury.
Yeah, it feels really good. I feel great out there. There's something about this Pontiac track that really suits me good. I won here before, and everything just went my way tonight, and I'm real happy.
The gate for the 250cc main event here in Texas Stadium. Round 10 of the Camel Supercross Series. We're in Dallas, is set, and we're about ready to go. Now, we've gone through qualifying 3 heats earlier, 2 semis, and a last chance have put 21 of the fastest and best Supercross riders in the world on the gate for this main. It's the Coors Extra Gold Super Challenge. Now, what you saw just a few seconds ago, they were the mechanics for the riders. They were waving their signal boards. Actually, they were using them as fans. It is hot and humid in Dallas. The gate has dropped. Round 10 is underway. That's Jeff Stanton for Team Honda. Stanton out of Sherwood, Michigan is the points leader in this Camel Supercross Series, and he is wasting no time. Right behind Stanton in that green Kawasaki, rider number 5, Jeff Ward, a former Supercross champ, and he's coming off a big win just 1 week ago in Tampa. Now, Jeff Stanton has won 3 Supercross events this year. He did it while Jeff Ward was on the sidelines in the opening event of the year, Anaheim, California. Ward suffered a foot injury that kept him out of the next 6 events. Ward came roaring back, though, with a vengeance. Since coming back, he's picked up a 3rd, a 2nd, then 1 week ago, an overall win in Tampa. Now, in that race, Jeff Stanton was working his way through the pack when he suffered a mechanical difficulty that put him out of the race. We expected Stanton to challenge Ward, but that never materialized. It has, however, come together here in Dallas. Now, you might think because Jeff Ward has no chance of winning that championship that he would be riding on the conservative side. So we asked the Kawasaki team rider a little earlier if indeed that could be the case.
I don't think so. I want to win races right now. You know, I am out of the championship probably, but you know, I can't get points for, you know, getting up to top 5. That's my goal right now. I can get 2nd, I think, if I push it to the end. But I want to win races, and I'm not going to do that by settling in and riding conservative.
The ride that Jeff Ward is turning in here in Dallas could not be mistaken for a conservative one. Now, here's the battle for the number 4 position. Johnny O'Mara is in 3rd. He's chasing, of course, Jeff Ward and Jeff Stanton. But this battle for 4th carries a lot of significance in this Camel Supercross Series. Ron Machine is in 5th. He's rider number 4 on that green Kawasaki. In 4th, it's Eric Kehoe aboard the yellow Suzuki. Now, 1 week ago, when Stanton failed to finish, Machine finished 3rd, and he picked up a pile of points and is now in the championship chase. Let's see what Machine says about being aggressive or conservative at this point in the season.
It's hard to say. You know, it just depends on the situation, I would say, because, you know, I'd like to say you ride conservative, but, you know, that's not going to win the race for you. So, you know, it just depends. If you're out leading, then sure, you might need to ride conservative, but if you're, you know, if you're back in the pack and, you know, you need to let it all hang out.
And that's exactly the situation Machine was in just a few moments ago, back in the pack. He has worked his way forward. He just passed Eric Kehoe and has taken over the number 4 position. Now, there's Johnny O'Mara in 3rd, the Osho. And you can see the difference between the 2 riders. It's not much. You're watching as a battle for the number 3 position. Johnny O'Mara, the Osho on the yellow Suzuki, has got it. And Ron Machine on that green Kawasaki, rider number 4, wants it. Now, going into this Dallas Supercross event, Johnny O'Mara, former Supercross champ, is in the number 4 position in the series standings. Ron Machine is right behind him, just 3 points behind, as a matter of fact. So we could be looking at a shift, and there goes Machine to the inside, and he cleanly passes the Ocho. I can't believe that Johnny O'Mara just moved over. He must have made some kind of a miscue going into that corner, because O'Mara is generally one tough customer to pass. In any event, Ron Machine has taken over 3rd, and here is the battle for the number 1 spot. The rider currently holding that position is the same rider that has held it since the drop of the gate. Rider number 7 for Team Honda, the series points leader, Jeff Stanton out of Sherwood, Michigan. And here comes Ward. Ward dove underneath Stanton and took over the number 1 spot. Now, in that corner, Stanton was using the same line that he had used throughout the race. Ward had been studying him and watching him. All he did was dove in a little bit deeper than Stanton, went lower, and he managed to put his bike in front of Stanton. Let's look at it again in slow motion. This is what you call a block pass. Now watch Ward as he just moves to the front of Stanton. Stanton has nowhere to go and has to hit the brake. Jeff Ward, a former Supercross champion, is leading. Right behind him, Jeff Stanton, rider number 7 aboard that red Honda. Since the opening lap, these 2 riders have pounded away at each other. Jeff Stanton took the whole shot and led the first 1/2 of the race. He was passed by Ward, but Ward has not been able to run away from Stanton. Several times throughout this race, we've mentioned Jeff Stanton's points lead. In my opinion, Stanton right now should be riding conservatively, and he should settle for that second place. But he's kept the pressure on Jeff Ward, and there's only one reason that you would do that. That means he's going to try a last-ditch effort, and here we go. The white flag is out. Let's see what happens. Stanton goes to the inside. Jeff Ward jumps right over the top of Jeff Stanton. Ward with a hard drive out of that corner. Caught the lip of that jump. Stanton tried to dive underneath, and Ward went over the top of him. And I was right. Here comes Stanton. He is trying a last-ditch effort on this last lap of round 10 in Texas Stadium. He's moved up now to within a bike length. He's going to try to dive underneath, and he does. He rammed Jeff Ward. Stanton rammed Ward, the two of them side by side. Look at that. They bumped in midair. Ward almost fell off the bike. Now Stanton takes a clear-cut lead around that corner, and he almost went down. Jeff Stanton has taken over the #1 position. He's now going to put a lap rider between himself and Stanton come out of that tunnel jump. He nailed it off the top of that big jump. His bike shot up in the air, and that's going to give the win to Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward is going to take the win. What an unbelievable sequence of events. I have never seen a lap of Supercross racing that exciting. An unbelievable turn of events at the last instant giving Jeff Ward the win. There's Ward being congratulated by his mechanic. They have to be happy. The other side of the fence, well, that's Jeff Stanton. He finished second. But Stanton had the race in his grasp. Then at the last minute, throwing it away for no apparent reason. There's Ron Lechien, rider #4 aboard the Kawasaki. Ron Lechien finished in that #3 position.
Jeff, what a great race. Probably one of the best races we've seen all season long. What were you thinking when Stanton got by you?
You know, he made a real aggressive move in that corner. Kind of the same one I made to him. I was expecting it. The last lap, I made one mistake going in the hoops, and I knew he'd be on me. I tried to go inside, but he went in real inside. We tagged, and I held him off, but I jumped too far over the tabletop, landed real hard. He couldn't make the corner, and he got me. And I was putting the pressure on him. I think I just tapped his tire there in that corner maybe, and he spun out.
Were you surprised whenever he went down coming out of the tunnel?
Well, I saw him get sideways, and I knew I'd have a chance in the next corner to do like I did before. But instead of trying to correct it, he grabbed a handful, and it just came back all the way. So I was happy.
How do you feel about coming back and making it 2 in a row?
Pretty good. I feel really good. Felt strong the whole way, but Jeff, man, he was really tough also. And, you know, my hat's off to him. He had that win just as much as I could have had it. He made one more mistake than I did, but he rode a great race.
How many think it's going to be O'Mara? What about Jeff Stanton? How about Rick Johnson? Well, we're going to find out right now. We got any Guy Cooper fans out there? The board is up. The Coors Extra Gold main event. Laps on a John Savinsky built course, and it's a good one. And we are underway. It is Doug Dubach in the lead. Ronnie Tietzer running in the second spot. Brian Manley in the third spot. Johnny O'Mara in the fourth spot. Larry Brooks now runs in the third spot. Here comes O'Mara and Lechien and O'Mara Tagle. Johnny O'Mara running in the third spot, going after Tietzer. Ricky Johnson is in the back, but O'Mara right now is out in front by 2 seconds over Tietzer. Lechien running in spot #3. Here comes Johnson to challenge Dubach for fourth. Johnson in the fourth spot. Tietzer and Lechien combining to be second and third right now. Johnson in spot #4, and Ricky is moving. O'Mara still out in front and running the race the way he likes to. Very controlled, very calculated. Tischner running in spot number 2. Here comes Ricky all over Lachine. Johnson trying to make some time up on Ronnie in the whoops right now. Lachine looking like he's getting a little tired out there. And Johnson trying to make a move on him. But Johnny O'Mara is starting to pull away. And here comes Johnson on the inside. Ricky's got him. Ricky is in spot number 3. Johnson has moved into spot number 3. He's going after Tischner. And Johnny O'Mara is still running out in front. Cooper is got by Storbeck. Here comes Ricky to the inside. Ricky now going to dive into the inside of Tischner. Tischner slams the door on him. But the battle for second is pulling up closer to O'Mara. The halfway sign is out. Johnny O was out in front to this point last week. And that's when the steering stem went away. The works part. O'Mara now got a lap rider slowing him down. And I'd have to say right now, Damon Bradshaw, Johnny O'Mara's got everybody at bay.
Yeah, Johnny's looking really good. He's still got 10 laps to go. He's riding really smooth, and Ricky's riding strong. I'm surprised. Ronnie Tischner's riding really good.
Johnson got him, Damon. Johnson passed Tischner. And now Johnson's going to set out after O'Mara. And we have got a battle shaping up. Lap traffic now is going to be a big problem for Ricky and Johnny both. Johnny gets through clean, goes by Larry Brooks. Ricky's got to get by Upshaw Brooks. O'Mara's got Pasquarella. And Storbeck goes down hard. Here comes O'Mara. Here's Johnson, Pasquarella in between them. O'Mara's got to contend with Fisher and Andrews as he goes by some more lap traffic. And look at Johnson close in on O'Mara. And here comes Johnson. Johnson is out in front. And O'Mara will not let him run away. Ricky went from 12th to 1st. Johnny O'Mara trying to pull that crown in on Rick Johnson. And I'll tell you what, he is pulling in on Ricky. And the white flag will come out for Team Honda's Rick Johnson. And Rick Johnson is going to make it 2 in a row. One Saturday night at Anaheim. Your winner, Ricky Johnson. Second spot, and a very hard one at that, is going to be Ron Tischner. Third spot will be Ron Lachine. Fourth spot, Jeff Stanton. Fifth spot, Jean-Michel Bale. Sixth spot will be Johnny O'Mara. Seventh spot will be Dr. D, Doug Dubach.
That main event is one of the finest I've seen in a long time. And man, they're down here just happy. They're extremely elated, but there's not a lot of energy being expressed. Obviously, they're very, very tired. I think all three of the riders in our winner's circle are doing nothing but just sitting there and pondering the race. Rick Johnson has just taken his helmet off, as I'm sure you can see up on the Diamond Vision. And Rick is, we're just going to give them a couple of minutes, all three of them. They need to get their win back, as it was tough, folks. I want to tell you that. Ron Lachine, ladies and gentlemen, another great ride. How about it? Man, it was tough out there. There was no place to relax, catch your breath, or anything.
Yeah, there really wasn't, Larry. I was just trying to hold my pace, and, you know, I knew the track was going to take its toll, and just tried to stay smooth and stay on two wheels, and that was even a hard task in itself. I was getting really wild out there and almost lost the bike about 3 times, so I'm just happy to be standing here.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is by far his best ever Supercross finish. He's one of those young, upcoming riders of the future. Would you welcome from Palm Harbor, Florida, Ron Tischner. Great ride, Ronnie. I knew you were going to smile.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this ride. It's my best finish ever in a 250 Supercross. I'm just really pumped right now.
What were going through your mind the last few laps? The first laps, you know, it was extremely tough, and the position you were in, you could only try to concentrate on the track. But the last few laps, you were in a position of having to think about what was happening.
Yeah, the first laps, I got a really good hole shot, and I was in second behind Johnny. I was just trying to set a good pace. And later on, I got pretty tired. The track was really ruddy, and it really worked me out. I just got really tired, and Rick started catching up, and I started making a lot of mistakes. So I just tried to settle down and keep going.
Rick Johnson, RJ, what can you say? Go ahead, describe it.
Well, I got to confess something. That extra lap, I think, was for me to catch my breath so I didn't look like such an idiot up here. Man, this track was really tough tonight. It worked me out. You know, every time I tried to relax a little bit, I always looked forward. There was someone there or someone right behind me, but felt great. Just like to give this glory to my team, Honda. Brian Luttis, my mechanic, did a great job. And also the good Lord Jesus Christ for keeping me safe, keeping all the riders out safe and sound out there.
Rick, tell me a little bit about the start you had and what you had to go through to get where you were. What was running through your mind?
Well, I didn't get the greatest of all starts. I was right in the middle, and people were going every which way, people crashing and doing this and that. It was pretty hectic, but I just tried to settle into a pace and keep an eye on the leaders. My mechanic, Brian, kept me well informed of what I was doing and where I was at, so I was pretty confident the whole time, but this track definitely worked me out.